kayo amin? 28 days more to go till Christmas. Advance Merry Christmas to everyone. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Before we formally start the program, let's acknowledge the participation of guests and participants in today. We'll start, of course, with our country guest from the country where our ambassador come from Belgium. He will be properly introduced later. May we request also our representatives from Greece. From Greece, we go to Finland. Finland to Australia. We now go to Thailand. South Korea. From Taiwan. And of course, the host country, the Philippines. We also have representatives from USA, United States of America, the Netherlands, Taiwan, Nigeria. Allow me to acknowledge also the presence from government line agencies. Our private sector partners, to all of us here, let's give ourselves a warm round of applause. From transportation, communication, and to almost everything we do, technology is making our life a lot easier every day. But along with the privileges of modern day lifestyle are the complex challenges brought by climate change and the exhaustion of the Earth's finite resources. As we enjoy the ease and fastness of modernization, we also embrace the need to adapt, reorganize, and evolve to address the vulnerabilities affecting not only neighborhoods but nations as a whole. Today, we share our experiences, knowledge, and insights as we continue to build inclusive and climate-resilient communities. Again, welcome to the second International Conference on Food, Environment, and Culture with the theme Building Climate Resilience Through Inclusive Global Innovations. So, as a start, because of the topic that we have today involving all of us, let's put our hands together. In unity, we can overcome all of this. Maraming salamat to Benguet State University Center for Culture and the Arts, the Glee Club, the Marching Band, and the Women Elders of Barangay Balili, La Trinidad, Benguet. Our warm round of applause. As they say, nagbabago na ang panahon. Panahon na para magbago. Climate is changing. Time to change. So in this 2 days conference, let's be engaged, let's learn, let's exchange ideas so that we can be one in combating climate change. So we move on to the next part. We all deserve a warm welcome. And to formally welcome us and of course share what the International Conference on Food, Environment, and Culture is all about, let's put our hands together on stage for the immediate past Vice President for Research and Extension, we call on Dr. Carlito Lorian.
His Excellency, Michael Goffen, the Ambassador of Belgium to the Philippines. And at this point, I would like to thank the Belgian government for the institutional grant that the government of Belgium provided to both for Benguet State University and St. Louis University for institutional development that spanned from 1999 to 2010. And there was a lot of development in both universities because of this grant. Kindly relay this kindly relay this to the people of Belgium for the support that you have provided us both for Benguet State University and St. Louis University. To our President, Dr. Feliciano J. Calora Jr., and the two Vice Presidents, the Vice President for Research and Extension, Dr. Ruth Batani, and the Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Kenneth Laruan. To the representative of Congressman Mark Go, and ably represented by Pastor Jan Bagalawis. To the plenary speakers, at this point, pardon me if I will mispronounce your name. Starting from Dr. Surian Supapvanits, Miss Judith Carinyuk Pangloy, Dr. Laila America, Dr. Yung Gently, Dr. Chin Sulin, Professor Pantolion Sakayanis, Professor Tanja Oradita, Dr. Minerva Chalubig Marx. She's from representing La Trobe University, but she would like to be called Cordillera. And Dr. Jimmy Fong. I would like also to thank the following individuals who contributed a lot for this conference and welcome you all to this. Of course, our Master of Ceremonies by Director Helen Tibaldo, the Regional Director of Philippine Information Agency, CAR. Our partner ever since, the Regional Director of DOST CAR, Dr. Nancy Banto. To the Bureau of Fire Protection, Senior Fire Officer 2, Irene Ramos. To the representatives of the Commission on Higher Education from CAR, Attorney Marco Domingo and Ms. Menzi Cuingan. To the Police Regional Office, Cordillera, Police Major Rinaldo Buwan, and from the Napolcom CAR, Director Edita Poddo and Ms. Kimberly Bailen. And to the representatives of the Agricultural Training Institute, CAR, Mr. Cristino Balancio, Birna Santa Maria, and Soledad Binware. And to the BSU Board of Regents, Regent Marvin Chagyo and Regent Imelda Digay. And to the men and women behind the preparation of this international conference, which was assumed when I request for to be relieved as Vice President for Research and Extension, Dr. Ruth Batani, and of course, the assistance provided by no other than our former International Relations Director, Dr. Darlene Tagarino. Despite that she already retired from service, she's still assisting us in this conference. And of course, to the women elders of Balili, thank you for the welcome ritual, representing the culture of the Cordillera. To the participants from the different countries and from the various state universities and colleges and government institutions in the Philippines, guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome all of you to this second International Conference on Food, Environment and Culture, which brings together key players in agriculture, forestry, environment, and culture. That we gather once again for the second time to discuss on most timely topics of common interests to all of us along the theme Building Climate Resilience through Inclusive Global Innovations. The theme reflects our recognition of the power and importance of bringing science, technology, and innovations to address problems, issues, and concerns of the 21st century, that is, climate change amidst increasing world population. Your presence today shows your strong interest to continuously support endeavors towards achieving food security and environmental sustainability. Allow me to mention once again, as I mentioned this during the first conference, that here in the Cordillera Administrative Region and Benguet Province in particular is under threat due to the impacts of climate change. Benguet is the most vulnerable province in the Philippines, second most vulnerable province in the Philippines to climate change hazards. Worldwide, the Philippines is ranked third as the most vulnerable country, yet we are not a major contributor to global warming. Climate change is contributing to lower vegetable production and farm incomes and is threatening agricultural land and water resource base. An increased frequency and magnitude of the extreme weather conditions is leading to the erosion of mountain slopes and terraces. Increased winds, flooding of crops, and longer periods of drought are reducing the quality and production of vegetable and forest crops. Landslides are frequently destroying agricultural terraces, hence increasing disaster, including lives, like in the case of the 2009 Typhoon Pipeng. More than 150 persons or individuals perished from our province. Along these threats, the Benguet State University is addressing the needs of society to cope with environmental threats and technological changes and devising schemes in developing skills in enhancing productivity amidst global threats to human existence. This is manifested by our continuing conduct of research and development activities. There are other areas by which the Benguet State University has put its resources in order to advance research and development in the region. The low-cost technologies that we generated to reduce disaster risks in vegetable terraces and other agricultural areas have been rolled out in the vulnerable areas of the 6 provinces of the region with the funding that we got from the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Resources Research and Development. I would say that every region has its own best ways and forms of cooperation. In the next 3 days of this conference, it is hoped that all of us, the speakers, the paper presenters, and the participants will unselfishly be sharing our views and experiences on regional cooperation initiatives and to present our respective research projects as practical examples. I also hope that this activity will be the beginning of a more productive regional cooperation, most especially with the threats of forest denudation, climate change, free trade liberalizations, and others. This second International Conference on Food, Environment, and Culture aims to better understand behavioral, biophysical, economic, institutional, political, sociocultural, and technological drivers, current and future global food security and environmental protection. Hopefully, the conference will address the food system activities of food production from crop, livestock, tree, processing, distributing, and consuming food, and trade-offs between economic, environmental, health, and social objectives and outcomes. PSU recognizes that achieving global food security while reconciling demands on the environment is the greatest challenge being faced by us today. Specifically, that by 2050, at least 9 billion people will need food. The urgency of the issue has prompted us, many researchers and scientists all over the world, to conduct researches to come up with technological interventions to ensure food availability. Therefore, we need more of this kind of conference to discuss and share the huge volume of scientific research findings that we have generated. Thus, the Benguet State University is committed through its research and extension services. I am now committing you, as I will be retiring from the service effective December 1, this coming month, to make this international conference on food, environment, and culture a biennial activity. I therefore wish everybody a successful conference and hope to see you again in 2021. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
And I will not quote all the names, very high, very important people, but thank you very much, President Kalora from the VSU, to invite me, and also Darlene. I'm here today to pass on a non-diplomatic message. I heard this morning that climate is changing and it's time to change. So today I will actually tackle an issue that is very much related to the conference today. It's related to food, it's related to environment, it's related to forestry, and it's even related to tourism. I will insist that later on. Next slide, please. Oh, I get... Wow, it's working. The scope, I'm calling this a plastic crisis because the plastic pollution crisis is really, really huge. It has a massive impact on the environment, the subject of our conference today, on public health, because we are actually eating plastic or microplastic without even knowing it, and it has an impact on the economy. There's a lot of statistics, just like in climate change, a lot of statistics in plastics, which I will not repeat on the screen, but we are using and wasting 1 million plastic bottles every minute in this world. I'm very happy, by the way, to be in this hotel, not because of the elevators, but because I haven't seen a plastic bottle. So it's a good sign that other statistics that are very, very... You hear me like that? I don't... Ano? Difficult to find, huh? Ah, it's better now. 14% only of plastic packaging is recycled. So really, it's a little worry. It's actually a very big worry for everyone. I'm ambassador of Belgium. I'm ambassador of Belgium here in the Philippines. We have a plastic crisis in Belgium also. It's a world crisis. 8 million tons of plastic are dumped in our oceans every year. We have seen in the press in the Philippines some mammals, marine mammals, being killed by plastics. And 90% of seabirds have plastics in their stomachs. Maybe we also do have plastic in our stomachs. Why am I talking about plastics in the Philippines? It's because the Philippines is number 3 in the world of dumping plastic into the ocean. After China, number 1, and Indonesia, number 2. This is a global scale. It's not just Asia. But you can see that 5 Asian countries are actually taking care of the majority of plastics dumping in the ocean. So what have we done so far? We have Belgium, the Commission has endorsed campaign. We have a Belgian action plan on marine pollution in the North Sea. There is a G20 commitment and action plan on litter. And there is an EU action plan on plastic strategy and the circular economy. What I'm saying here is that there's plenty of action plans on paper and commitment. There's not a lot in the real world. Belgium is concerned about this crisis. We are donating 4 million euro to the Environment Fund. European Union has voted a law that prohibits the single use of plastic products like straws, plate cups and cotton buds as from 2021. Some countries, not in the Philippines, but in Africa, for example, have banned the use of plastic bags. Kenya, Chile, Rwanda. Why not the Philippines? Germany and Norway have opted for another system. You are getting money, deposit money, when you return your plastic bottles. There's plenty of ideas in this world. Diplomats are here to share ideas, and these guys, researchers in university, have to find solutions. Even at the very local level of the Embassy of Belgium in Manila, we are trying to deal with the problem, at least in a symbolic way. You can see the embassy staff, including me, participating into the international coastal cleanup in Manila. I'm not sure it exists in the northern part of the Philippines, but in Manila every year, on 23rd of September, I think, there is a big cleanup of one of the dirtiest beach you can imagine in the world, I think. See, I was myself cleaning the beach in front of Baseco in Tondo, Manila, but I have a very bad news today. I didn't know that myself. It is impossible to clean. Impossible. You can see on the screen these micro little pieces of plastics, even smaller. You cannot clean a beach. You cannot clean anymore a beach unless we find a technical system, but I doubt that the mechanical system could filter really the very, very small pieces of plastic and many other things. So really, the embassy and myself, I'm a believer in an environment. And I'm a believer that we can restore, for example, coastal areas in the Philippines. There used to be mangroves everywhere in the Philippines. The Philippines governments have in the past destroyed the mangroves to make aquaculture, all sorts of things. I think we need to restore the mangrove trees around the coast. But I took a picture 20 meters next to that mangrove plantation. And it was, here are the plastic bottles. Next to the plantation, there was plastic on the beach again. So the message today is very simple. It's a big crisis. It's impossible to clean. So what can we do? There's plenty of ideas to start now. We cannot clean the past. We are responsible for that. But at least we can start now by not drinking in a plastic bottles. But we can ban single use of plastic. I myself, when I shop in Manila, in SNR, for example, I refuse to use plastic bags just to carry your products that are already wrapped in plastics anyways. Just to carry stuff, you consume a plastic bag. That should be finished. You should bring your cotton reusable bag to do that. So what I'm saying is, it's an individual commitment. It's not a country. It's not a government. It's not an embassy. It's you personally that has to make that commitment. There are some other ideas to boycott companies, for example, that don't make a good effort to ban plastic or to find alternatives. I'm not sure that's the best solution, but it's a very efficient one, because companies are only interested in the market, and if the market is changing, they will change their product. Funny enough, one of the company that was doing commercial promotion on the beach we were cleaning in Manila was Coca-Cola, distributing plastic bottles. I have some good news. Ambassador, they also have to bring good news, otherwise they are not invited anymore to a conference. I was in Siargao 2 weeks ago, and in Siargao there is a real strong policy to ban single use of plastics and to recycle plastic and to try to manage waste. I'm not sure that's true that this surfboard is made of recycled plastic. No, let's see if it's true. But at least there is a political message that is very, very strong in Siargao. Maybe we can have the same strong policy from the local authorities in Baguio city also. So really my message, I'm not an expert in plastic recycling. I'm not an expert on environment, food or forestry. But really what I'm calling now, it's not on institutions or governments. It's on every individual to change their understanding of waste, their understanding of plastics, and to stop single use of plastic. Thank you very much. Welcome.
President Calora to hand in our token of appreciation.
Thank you.
His message is very clear. A call to action for each of us to commit, to stop using, dumping, and letting plastics get into the oceans. Can we all support this?
Yes.
This can be heard in Belgium a little louder.
Yes.
So yes to no plastic.
Yes.
So another warm round of applause to our guest of honor speaker,
Thank you very much once again, Cordillera Regional Science High School, for showcasing the Cordillera songs and dances from the traditional to the millennial moves. Before we have the BS hymn, we would like to once again acknowledge our delegates. We start from Belgium.
From Belgium, we go again to Greece,
To Finland,
Australia,
Thailand,
South Korea,
Taiwan,
of course, the host country, Philippines,
United States of America,
the Netherlands,
Japan,
Nigeria. And to all of us, a warm round of applause.
we have Thailand here.
We're done with the opening program. Let's make this 2 days conference productive. As they say, climate resilience is a very complex issue that impacts nations across the world and encompasses the different sectors of society. So through research, innovations, we continue to find ways to adapt, evolve, and make better, inclusive, and climate resilient communities. Again, maraming salamat po. Be informed, be engaged in the 2nd International Conference on Food, Environment, and Culture with the theme, Building Climate Resilience Through Inclusive Global Innovations. Maraming salamat po. Again, enjoy the 2-day conference.
Thank you, and be environmentally and culturally healthy as you stay here for the rest of the days. Thank you.